loops is that we don't edit, so we can't.
There are no outtakes because
our freaking show is a whole
show is an outtake.
Yeah.
Kick it off.
Kick it.
Let's kick it.
Oh. Welcome to a slightly late Everyone Racers, a podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of La Champ or Lucky Track Dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. We even think you Drifto Hella Flush peeps are all right, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes in the world of low-dollar endurance racing. And this week we'll be having Hella Sweet or But Terrible, so even though you'll miss it, Chrissy won't give us just the tip.
Nope.
We're sure you're going to giggle a little and learn even less today. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
Woo!
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another Bill and Ted episode of our podcast. That's right. It's episode 69,
dude.
We also want to extend a warm welcome to all
I need
our
to
new...
do like the air guitar.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Wild Stallions rules. Hey, we want to welcome all our new West Coast listeners because I'm sure there are threes of you after, not fives, threes, after we were out at Lucky Dog. So thanks for joining us.
Sure.
If you're not driving a car, don't forget your E1R bingo card. There's a new version available with updated words and phrases. And for the new folks, the link is in our show notes, which is if you're on your podcast app, scroll down from the actual episode you're playing, and there's all kinds of stuff there, including that link. That's what we mean by show notes. If you get bingo, take a screenshot.
And really funny. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there what? Someone interrupts Chris on there? No, sorry.
No.
No.
No, but we can change it.
If you get bingo, take a screenshot, post it on some of our social media, and tag us, and we'll send you a sticker. Or maybe two. How about that? I know. Chrissy, yes?
I'm actually in shock right now. Now, what? Chris, you have some wine. Chrissy, what do you got?
I have right next to me a cup of seltzer.
Okay, Jeff, was that a beer I just saw?
That was not. It is a work day. I am drinking a bottled cider.
Okay. What's a cider?
It's non-alcoholic.
That's
I was going to have a heart attack. Like, wait a minute, we're all drinking, but we're not all in the same room? Because normally that's what it takes. Okay, sorry.
For tequila, is that what you got there? Yeah.
Again,
of course.
Is it a day that ends in Y?
Yeah. Yep.
Looks a little dark.
Of course, he's drinking tequila. Okay, so hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. Chrissy, yes. What do you have to say?
I was going to say two things. First of all, you should read the show notes because Chris works really hard to come up with really funny things that happen. If you have not read the show notes, you should go back and listen to or read them because sometimes the things he writes are real. Sometimes they happen after the show and they're just as funny. So you should look at them.
They're kind of like old Top Gear stuff.
Yes,
it's a good podcast. Some of the funny stuff is not even audible.
Sure.
Yeah.
What you working on, time?
Fine.
What you working on, Chrissy?
So racing happened, which we're going to discuss later. That's most of our show today. We had lots of travel, I feel like, flying to and from. Just ended up just 2 whole days of just flying. So that's just a lot. And it might not be a lot for most people, but it was a lot for us, because we don't do it often. So, yeah. And I think it's so funny because people at work are just like, wait, you flew to California this weekend? Yeah, why not? Went to a race. Cool. And then, of course, the next question is, how'd you get your car there? No, I didn't get any. I didn't get any. Did you win?
I have to tell people that's really hard.
And they're just like, but you should just do that. And I was like, okay, yes,
sure, you do it.
Yeah. Thanks. And so so now I'm back to work with no vacations in sight. So that's cool. Because we did all kinds of stuff between December and January, and now just work. Yay!
What's your smart ass answer for how'd you get a car there?
No, I just flew there.
Teleport.
And that's why you're such a likable person, and I'm so not likable, because it'd be like, I'm sorry, apparently you don't understand. I'm kind of a big deal. My race car was prepped and waiting on me when I got there.
Did not say that.
I'm Chrissy.
Well, if that were true, maybe we would have, but yeah.
As we'll talk about later in the show.
Well, I went on Craigslist and I bought a car and just drove it. That's what I did. Yeah.
I am not good at lying on the spot. So when somebody says how'd it go, I'm like, yeah, it didn't go so well. So I'm really not good at just making up stories like that. So although
everything I said was true.
Yeah.
It's just presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I just don't come up with it that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so lastly, heel toe progress, which is on my bingo card, which I decided to bring up anyway. I so wish I had it on track this weekend. In turn 11, Jeff was like, "Yeah, if you could heel toe, you do so much better on that turn," and he's right. I should have been able to do it because you had to downshift from. I guess
Fourth.
you were
Fourth to second.
Fourth to second,
That's what I
and
was
the
doing.
car was pretty pissed when I didn't, and I was like, every time I was like, oh sorry, so that happened. So I'm still only on the braking part, so no minimal progress, but I'll get there.
So when you're heel towing, you're using your heel on the gas,
Not
right?
heel towing, that's the problem.
And your the ball of your foot is on the brake. What's that third pedal?
Shut up. Keep going. He's trying to get something on his bingo card.
Oh no,
Mm-mm.
everything's
I
fine.
will go next.
Oh, but I just got that one.
We can't see that.
I
No
can't
one
see
can
it
see.
at all.
Yeah, it doesn't help us. Also,
You
sees
get-
next.
Someone tells Mental to shut up.
Okay, shut up, mental.
Well, that's like the free square in the middle, pretty
Right.
much.
I'm
right.
going to go
Jeff,
now. If
yes,
everyone
what
will
do you,
be quiet.
Jeff, what are you working on? Let's hear it.
So it is Silly Week on campus. For those of you who have not been to college in a while, that means
Silly
everybody
bunny?
gets
Spelled it that way.
syllabus.
You
Silly
spelled
string?
it silly.
Did. Silly syllabus. So everyone gets their syllabus, including my new class that I canceled on Monday because I was too busy flying back from Laguna Seca. And totally unprepared for the class, but got it all in anyway. Recovery, including carb lowering and alcohol avoiding recovery is happening right now.
Yep.
Us too.
We did not overindulge this weekend.
I
Don't worry.
did some damage this weekend. But that was it. So I will mention that my lovely and talented wife, Jennifer, who is also traveling many hours for her college job, lost a headlight. So I had to replace a headlight in the
Just the light, not the like
Zero.
like the
No,
whole
no.
thing didn't fall out.
No, light bulb burn. But it is 0.0 degrees here in lovely New
Oh,
Jersey.
somebody complains about the weather. It's totally on my card.
Oh crap. So at 10 o'clock at night, because that's when I get home, I had to like literally stand outside and put the new light in. And since it was 10 o'clock at night, the only place I could get a headlight was Walmart, Wally World, because the only people open, and they only had one. We don't need that music. Exactly. Thank you. So I only replaced one headlight, and I wanted to take a quick poll. Should I let it ride, or should I just run out and replace the other one too? Chris, go ahead. You can talk about that.
I say buy the extra bulb, but let it ride. But know
Well,
that
that's
it's
what I
going to have
always-
to happen. Or and we're not going to get a warm day in the next few days. It's going to be
No.
2 on Sunday
On
night.
Sunday.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
So and if it's 2 and the headlight goes out, I'm sorry, honey, you're going with one headlight. That's all. That's the answer.
She's like, replace them both, like you, because the next one always goes out soon. I was like, no, only got one.
The other one goes in the glove box.
That's right.
That's what we do.
So
And we've needed it. The one time both of my headlights went out
I'm
on the
sure.
road. Oh yeah, one of them was a faulty wire, but the other one was it was already out. So that's terrifying, and don't play that
Yeah.
game.
no.
Mental.
Go ahead, mental. Sorry.
Replace them both. Take the good light bulb. Put that one in the glove box.
No, that's not going to happen. If I buy one, it's only going to be one for the other side.
Have you met Jeff?
Oh yeah, and then you're going to replace it, and you're going to have one good one.
No,
Because
no, you don't
as
understand the
Chris
math.
said,
They are both working at the moment. Oh, you're saying put the used one,
Yeah.
Yes,
the many
that already
miles
works.
in the glove.
No,
because
they're
then
like
you give
$8.
Yeah,
buy
You've
two.
given Murphy his. You've given Murphy his. Well, you said they only had one to sell, right?
Yeah.
Sale.
So it's another.
You're going to have to go buy another one. Get it on your way home from work. Give Murphy his due by having the spare in the glove compartment. That way, it won't go out until it's warm.
It's good thought. I will mention the other brief thing I had to do with the 2015 Forester of.
There's a fourth member of our podcast, Jeff.
Yes. No, I'm still talking.
What?
You said you were taking a poll. You heard
Oh.
from Chris. You heard from me.
Christy said.
Oh,
I like. Oh, you're just pointing into Chris's nose.
Someone skips Chrissy.
I'm pointing at Chris.
Oh, somebody skips Chrissy. I think that's still on there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Chrissy already said. She said, "Don't bother."
Yep.
All right.
She said, "Put it in the glove box."
Yeah.
So the lovely and talented Jennifer, if you remember last week, I replaced her rear brakes. Well, they worked so well that she got rear-ended very lightly on 422sucks.com. Put a decent-sized scratch on her rear bumper. The person, lovely, shiny, happy person who hit her, pulled over, turned around, looked at her, and then drove away. So I'm very upset that I don't have her dash cam installed because I bought her one for her birthday, and I feel like a suckhole because I didn't do it. And there is a piece of 2015 Forester, one tailpipe, bumper cover, two tailpipe holes. One of them has a cover, like a gray cover that covers it. They hit the bumper, that thing is cracked. Now it hangs loose. It's very annoying. Why would they even put it there? That's the end of the story.
It's cheaper than making two bumpers. Or this might be the better option: make a fake tailpipe that goes over there and sticks out, so then it looks badass because it's got two tailpipes.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
so
not happening.
I did see that once I worked at
Go, Chris.
I worked at a tire store in Montana, and someone had a caravan. And they had quad tips sticking out the back of the caravan. Guess what? Weren't hooked up at all. Either of the quad tips. It still had the side one too, but it had the quad one sticking out. Yeah.
Nice.
Caravan life.
Two things. The grab a dual exhaust that someone discards off of a WRX and it'll actually bolt up too. The new Nissan Rogue has that standard. Dual tailpipes out of the rear valence, neither hooked up. Has a little tiny downpipe right in front of it.
Yeah, because Nissan Rogues are dumb. They are. Well, actually, we actively avoided the Nissan Rogue as a rental car this weekend.
You're burning pod.
Well, Chris, you're up anyway. Tell us what you're working on.
This is a quick story of the Nissan rental car. The rental cars, the whole point is we avoided the Nissans. Especially there was a ton of Rogues, and we said, no effing way. This is the worst car. The only car worse than this is a Versa. So, yeah.
And I think a Rogue is really just a Versa up higher.
It's a Sentra up high, and a Sentra is like the third one on the list of being terrible. Anyway.
Sentra's the only one on the list I'd consider.
Yeah, but even then, they're so tragic. What happened to Nissan? Remember they used to be cool? You used to be cool, man.
They put the fleet guy in jail. You used to be cool, man.
So, working on, after travel, we last night put the NSX over.
Jeff is still dipping his pliers.
Of course he is.
Is that what you're doing right now?
It's not visual.
It's a multi-day process is dipping pliers. So we moved the NSX to storage, and that the taking the MG out and putting the Nissan 300ZX in, the Z is a little bigger than the MG in a variety of ways. So it just barely fits. Like we back the Civic up until it hits the wall. All right, e-brake up there. Back the Z until it bounces off the Civic, and then go forward and backward and forward and backward, and it's in. And then had to suck it in to get out of the NSX next to the Nissan. Anyway. They're all in there.
You made this sound like this was all a project that you did.
Well, Chrissy, I was about to say, Chrissy held the door so I didn't scratch it getting out of the NSX and told me when I was hitting things and about to hit things. That was nice. And drove me home after that. And we're amazed the Nissan did start and move once the battery got hooked up to it. It was a little cranky about starting, but once it did, it sounded actually not as bad as it did last time we started it.
Oh, I thought it sounded great.
It still sounds bad, but it sounded like Citroen better, so that was nice.
Chrissy, is that like
yeah.
Is that sarcasm I hear in your voice?
Oh, that was sarcasm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even make this sound.
Now, and
did the NSX make like this really pathetic noise when you walked away from it, like the little kid in Big Daddy, like as he's being carried away by the social services guy? I won't do the kangaroo dance anymore. Don't leave me in here. Don't leave me.
Yeah, it's the NSX and 3 derelict race cars. That's what's in there now. It's the Civic,
the
Z.
I don't belong here.
Like the Civic has a blown motor. The Z is a redneck tragic fest, and the Citroen is stuck in Jeff hell. So
it is.
Yeah, somehow the Citroen has not found its way out yet, so it's still there, all the way down in hard park mode. Yeah,
even all the other cars are telling your NSX lies. Yeah, I used to be the pride and joy. Yeah, they used to keep me in the garage to take me out on pretty summer days. Now I live here. Don't worry, soon your guts will get ripped out of you. You're going to get a roll cage. You're going to be painted some obnoxious color and have some giant...
I don't think that's it at all. If the cars are talking, this was what it's like. The Citroen says to the...
Oh, yes!
Damn it, I said it wrong. Citroen says to the Honda, your motor look hurt? Let me in. I could do it. My tank is clean now. Let me in.
The motor is the one part of the Citroen that actually works okay now. Yeah.
And the other two, not so much.
Took us a long time to get there. Chris, what else you working on?
Oh, my.
I'm working on the basement workshop continues. I'm actually finished the workbench, got the cabinets up, and starting to put things away to start to organize and make. All this is really only so that I can move things out of the garage so that I have room for the explosion of Honda parts that is about to happen in there soon. So, yeah.
We have so much to get rid of.
Yeah.
We have a lot to get rid of.
We got to start eBaying and Craigslisting all kinds of stuff. Hey, if anyone out there in listening land has any interest in any Honda D series parts, I have all of them. Like every single D series
all
part.
Of them.
I think we have every transmission that is in the world, right?
Yeah.
Proven D series parts.
Like, yeah, I have a lot of really weird and rare D series parts too. If you want any of it, let me know. Please.
There it is. Everyone.racers@gmail.com.
Yeah. Mental. How about you? What are you doing?
Whoa. While you fine folks were living my fantasy out in California, I was a guest on the Garage Heroes in Training podcast. Big surprise. It's a little long-winded. So right now we're guessing it's going to be a 3-parter.
No.
Yeah. So Bill's still editing it. And Bill actually texted me before the show and said, hey, why wasn't the Laguna episode up? And I said, we had to move our recording over. And he goes, you're killing me. I want to know how it went. I'm going to dial in tonight so I can listen. He didn't. But yeah, so I had marksmanship Saturday and tonight, and then I was bus driving on Tuesday. I've got some extreme experience events coming up, so I made my arrangements. And tomorrow night, my dad and I are going to go to a sales presentation for Bonneville or Triumph Motorcycles, the new Bonneville Icons. They've got some kind of traveling road show, hipster, ridiculous thing that they're doing at a local microbrewery. But yeah, it's me and my dad. I like beer. We like motorcycles. It'll be fun.
Woo! Nice.
All right.
News and notes time. I've already erased my first story because I'm just ready to talk about Laguna Seca. But I do want to mention that the 24 Hours of Lemons Instagram feed featured an amazing vehicle today. Thank you, Chrissy, for marking me on the Facebooks. The orange and white boat. It was amazing.
Yep.
Mental, yes?
It was me. I put it in the show notes.
No. Chrissy tagged me on Facebook. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because I already saw it.
Freaking da.
The
boat was wonderful. We all miss it.
This is the last known wonderful picture of it, because that was the race that the front end got smushed.
No, that was the race the deer jumped over it. The front end got smushed when it was Jaws, when you rear-ended that E30.
No, that thing gets smushed with Colin. It was on that race.
No, it wasn't.
This is after Jaws.
This is Summit Point. Well, hang on.
Summit Point. Clearly
Summit Point. The nose got smushed at Jersey. That was a while after this.
Oh, you're right. It was Jersey.
This is, but this still has the bow rails on it, and
it even says Summit Point over the rear wheel.
No, I remember that this was Summit Point. I just thought this is what it was because I have the picture in my mind of us cutting the front end off.
Yeah, it was Jersey.
What?
Yep.
Oh, you know what it was? It was the a key party.
Yeah. Also, no one cares anymore. Let's keep going.
No one cares. Keep going.
So
no one can see it.
Andreas Seidel, former Porsche Le Mans prototype head, had joined McLaren for their 2009 season as part of their restructuring. So this is a return to Formula One for Seidel, who's worked at BMW Motorsports from 2000-2006, and then BMW Sauber as head of track operations. I don't know why this is news and notes. Mental gave it to me. But, yeah, there we go. I have a better BMW driver story. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
All right, he's reaching for something.
At Laguna Seca, one of the guest drivers there was a guy named Johann Schwartz. And
we talked about Johann.
Has the record now for the longest drift. It was like 285 miles. 232 miles. Sorry. So that's the Guinness Book of World Records.
8.5 hours.
Right.
They had to refuel him in motion.
And there's pictures on here. The thing he handed us. It's hilarious. But here's what you don't know: Johann Schwartz, super nice guy. Like really nice, friendly guy.
He said he might come on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that
really great guy, very friendly, very warm and accommodating, nice guy. So
only because you said he had a guy that had to refuel while he was drifting. I was like, oh, did you know the guy? He was like, no, we didn't know the guy because we didn't want to know him in case he died. Johan, like, he told me this. He's like, yeah, we didn't know the guy.
Story. I saw it. Oh, yeah. And I was wrenching, so I really wasn't paying that much attention.
Honestly, we talked for an hour and a half, maybe, just because everybody else was wrenching, and he just wanted to talk. He's just like, so what do you do? Oh, he's just like,
they put a red Star Trek shirt on him and said, go forth there, ensign nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
There are pictures on here of the refueling, and there's one M5 drifting, and the other M5 is drifting next to it with a dude hanging out of the rear, like right rear window, with the seatbelt like around his neck, basically holding a gas pump from one M5
I just really like that he's just like,
yeah,
we didn't know the guy, so in case he died.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a way to do it, I suppose.
It's fantastic. So anyway, I'd rather talk about him because he's a great guy. So that's all.
That's awesome. No, that's fantastic. So, and Jeff, I know you like this guy, but our noted YouTube exotic high-end car fixer guy, humanitarian Tavarish. You can find him on YouTube. Tavarish, he got called out on Twitter because he donated enough money for them to buy a car for special needs kids to wrench on, kids that are interested in mechanical stuff. So the guy put him on there. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. And at the risk of being a little too much of a fanboy, but Camden Murphy, NASCAR pilot, extreme experience instructor, and Monster Jam driver, won the opening 2019 event at Anaheim, California. So we talked about the new truck, the Bokanzu Dragonoid, and he took the racing win, a two-wheel skills win, and second in freestyle, and he did a full flip, and all that is on his Instagram. But he did an in-place, looped a monster truck, landed on all four wheels, which is just awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Cool.
Chrissy, you got a story?
I have a story, so let's talk Lucky Dog. So we were at the No Bones About It Lucky Dog season opener at Laguna. We're going to talk more about the actual race later, but we're going to do the weekend results right now. Oh, I was going to say, I worked on these notes a lot. I was like, where did they go? Okay.
No. You took the sponsor section and you moved it up. You're still doing the sponsor section, just in the sponsor section.
Yeah.
So. No. I just wrote all of the three that somebody cut up. It's no problem.
I just changed the colors on two of them just because.
Just want to make sure it didn't go away. I apologize. Okay, so first was the very fast and very loud Fox body Southwest 737. You heard them coming every time they went down the straight. They won on both days, even though we thought the pink Mercedes came in first on Saturday, but they didn't. But what do we know? We weren't watching the race, and it was just happening, and we weren't there. Second was Good Times Racing, and third was our new IG buddy, Insta what, which I did over the weekend. You will notice some of those posts were mine. The Race Invaders, in the Sinister Green Miata, which had all of the aero. Check that off your list, but it had all of the aero.
It did.
Seriously.
It had the canards were everywhere.
And canards and vents and wings.
Everywhere. So
it's a mean looking car.
Oh yeah, it's also fast.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Because there you go. It came in third. And then So then second on Sunday was our well-driven sister car, 37, the Red Line Oil E36, BMW. Boring.
The one that Mental said we would be driving last week.
Well, it was supposed to be.
I said nothing. I posted
you're right.
An email.
Yeah.
No, I think that was just a.
Well, it would have been, but then things went wrong. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so and third was Good Times Racing Light Blue Integra, and which easily blue. I don't know what that is.
They did great. They have a double cam VTEC swap in that car, and they were clean and fast. Nice job. With
I was like, I don't even recognize that car because they came and went, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they were definitely quicker than us. For Lucky B Saturday, it was Navitas Fuel Authority, I hope I'm saying that correctly, which is a BMW 2002, which was darn quick. Sweet. That thing snuck up on me a couple times. Yeah. Followed by Pit Garage Red Miata, then Team Axe Red E36 Sunday had Navitas again with the Track Rats, and Pit Garage rounding out the podium.
Yep. And for Lucky C, their slowest class, it's not quite as much as God's chosen classes in Lemons, but for the Lucky Dogs, it's just the slower people. Sunday was the Slow Dogs Porsche 944, then Zoom Zoom Boom Miata, and Silver Fern Kiwi Angels Silver and Black Miata. And we think that was an all-women's team, except for one guy they had doing the mechanic work for them. Basically just their bitch for the weekend was this guy, so good for them. Sunday saw Zoom Zoom Boom top of the class, followed by Too Much Jägermeister's Orange E30, and then DBR Racing was a blue NC Miata. So
I love that name. Too Much Jägermeister is a brilliant name.
I didn't finish that. I think they were Lemons racers, we think. They might have done some Lemons racing.
Yes, they were. There were a lot of Lemons racers. Obviously, Southworst was a Lemons team.
Eyesore was there.
Eyesore was there. The original Mini was driven by well-adjusted
Normal Mike.
Normal Mike. I was trying to decide what I was going to call him.
There was a Focus there that was definitely a Lemons car. Yeah.
The 300Z guys, they were Lemons guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it was a good
awesome.
overlap. Yeah.
Speaking of cars that aren't crap cans,
right?
Jeff.
Caught me mid-drink. Extreme Experience can put you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars. 20 racetracks in America and Canada with no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, and no governors. Their 2019 travel schedule is up. Head to xxspeed.com and check out their schedule. New experiences at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Phoenix, Streets of Willow, Texas Motor Speedway, Road America, Pocono. So excited by that on the Tri-Oval and the road course. Utah Motorsports Campus, in addition to their standards like Autobahn, Atlanta, Hallett, all those things. 7 models of exotic cars to choose from. A new Hellcat wide body. Very excited for that. Year-round location in New Orleans. Pro instructors like Chris Mental or myself in the car with you, helping you explore the car's limits and learn to drive the racing line. Enter Everyone Racers, no space. I slow down for the important part. Everyone Racers, no space. When you book your xxspeed.com, and you will get 25% off your first car. Extreme Experience, it's your turn. They also have a contest going on, free. 5 free experiences a month. Go to the link in our show notes and enter. I would give you it, but it's really long. All you have to do is add in your information, and you are in. And they were giving away 5 free experiences a month. It's xxspeed.com. While you're there, book it up. Everyone, racers, no space.
Woo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to talk our other fantastic media sponsor. We're going to talk more about running with Lucky Dog, but I suggest you should check them out. I found that they have openings in a bunch of the races, like Button Willow, which is February 23rd and 24th, includes a 12-hour and a 24-hour enduro. Check that stuff
on
out.
the same weekend.
On the same weekend, you can just be like,
do
you want to do 12?
Oh, you can.
Do you want to do 24? Yeah, they got 2. The Ridge in late April and Willow Springs in early May. Go to racelucky.com, sign up for one of those or a bunch of the other awesome races, and also should make your plans to attend the first annual Dog Stock Jamboree at Shasta Lake Resort and the 3rd annual Flocktoberfest in October, which sounds just awesome. Yes.
Are we allowed to mention what they announced?
No.
That's not on the website yet?
Not on the website yet.
I don't think so.
Are we sure we're not allowed to? She didn't say that we're not allowed to mention.
Respect the embargo, Jeff.
Well, when she says,
all right,
nobody knows this yet, but I'll tell you now.
Hey, so keep checking on their website because they have some good things coming up. If you don't
Laguna.
If you haven't
second Laguna date.
If you haven't liked them on Facebook,
sorry everyone,
do that.
I didn't mean to turn off. Should have turned off the mic.
If you haven't liked them on Facebook, do that. If you haven't followed them on things, do that. Because as soon as that comes out, it's going to be awesome.
If you're not busy in late August, that might want to look at their calendar.
And you have a time to go out to near Monterey.
Mental, you might live.
You have a friend in Las Vegas,
and you have lots of mufflers on your car.
Yes,
what?
Mufflers are a thing.
Mufflers are important.
Oh, God. All right,
burning pod. You burning pod.
All right.
Sorry. Hey, but
never needs a muffler?
Who never needs a muffler? Chrissy's mom,
Chrissy's
because her Mazda 5 is stock. Yeah.
We're not there yet.
It's all right.
It worked.
But it was a nice transition. I liked it. That's why I went with it. So, but aside from Chrissy's mom, do you have a motorsports related business or interest, or do you just want three really great people and one okay person? You get to decide how that works. To talk about your ad in a podcast with listener base bigger than the entire population of Avonmore, Pennsylvania. I don't know how many people live there, but I'm guessing it's not very many.
Is it a town?
Hey, well, you know what? When we are your marketing solution, reach out to us at everyone.racers@gmail.com, and we promise we will not butcher your plugs much. So
True.
Yeah.
True. And to prove that we have listeners, let's do some listener feedback. Chrissy, do you want to say something first?
Oh, yes, I do. I got bingo. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
Man, I didn't even open my card this week.
Oh, come on. So I got
what'd you get?
Bow Ring BMW, just the tip, which we talked about in the beginning. This is a free spot. Craigslist, which somebody mentioned trying to get we needed Craigslist motors and then a blown motor, which we have lots of them. So that's a bingo for me.
Well
bingo.
Done.
Thanks, bye.
I'm one off.
You might. Plenty of pod left.
Lots of time.
So
lots of time.
Let's move on to listener feedback again. If you get bingo, please post a picture on our social media. But I want to mention that on the Facebooks, there were some discussions and there was an old Greg reference made because there might have been a picture of us pouring some creamy beige liquid into our ice cream while we were in California. And old Greg came up and people were like, I don't get it. If you have not seen old Greg, go YouTube it now. If you've been around for a while and you haven't seen old Greg, well, just maybe there's another podcast out there for you because we're old Greg people.
You've got to get through. You got to get through like 4 minutes of it.
4 minutes, yeah.
And that's about it.
Stop
After that,
watching.
you can kind of let it go. But the 4 minutes.
Brain
Yeah.
It's old. I'm old Greg.
I'm old Greg.
So anyway, DC Doug, who kind of looks like old Greg, mentioned
he hasn't got a mangina though. So.
He doesn't have a mangina.
No, he's all man.
He's all man. He is. He saw us pouring the creamy beige liquid onto our ice cream
at Costco.
Said, God, those guys didn't even wait till they were back in the car. That's commitment to drinking right there. Fairlink Motorsports pointed out, if you're not drinking it from a shoe, Bailey's has no appeal. So he was not interested in our Bailey's ice cream concoction. Thanks for watching our social media.
It was pretty good, though. Before the race started,
good ad.
We had some great encouragement from people. David told us to get some, and don't be silly, James F. You know we're going to send it, because we always send it.
Send it.
Send it.
And hey, Jeff, not you, Jeff, other Jeff, we're really sorry you blew up, too. And Len, appreciate the offer of a seat. Maybe next time. That would have been nice to know. Bummer.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, everybody.
Yeah. I think they had a problem when they said that we could have a seat.
Yeah.
Jerry Engel had a great comment about the motor going back. I said, I've seen this movie before. Tom, in clear trolling effort, mentioned that we might have better off in a VW. No, he knows that's a lie. That's no.
Because we had one good day, so come on.
Sure. Some of us had a good time. Gregory was stunned to see Jeff without his knee pads. He's so wrong. Then I attached a picture of Jeff in the knee pads. I took a picture from down and I was like, see, knee pads. And I'm like, so whatever the picture that I took before, just didn't see his knees. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. We also did a live video.
Yes. You guys had over 1,000 views on that live video.
No.
Yes. No,
What
you did.
on
You had 1,000 views. Now it may not have all been while you were watching, but no, just 1,000 people.
6 while we were watching. Chris was like, just shut it off.
But
6 people don't want to hear from you anymore. That's what happened.
But actually not true. But anyway, Bill from Garage Heroes pointed out in the Instagram that Lucky Dog released, they had a picture of the tacos and tequila party, and literally as they're panning across, the last second you see clearly Chrissy's pop her head back. So I can only guess you were taking a tequila shot.
Yeah, I was, but I didn't know there was another video going on.
Yep, it's in the Lucky Dog Instagram.
I don't go to.
We'll have to go back and look at that.
Is it early on? Is there nobody in the garage?
Oh no, the garage is packed. Everyone's having a great time.
That's when we were all doing tequila shots.
I didn't do it when you did.
If you didn't know your hat, you wouldn't recognize you. But Bill picked up on it.
It's gotta be me.
Yeah.
No one
But
else
in
has a
that live
cupcake
video,
hat.
exactly. in that live video, there was a myriad of comments, and it was great because everybody was either hoping you guys would get back on track or just general enjoyment of the live broadcast, even if they weren't enjoying the whole situation. So as one of those well-wishers who was also watching the video, I feel comfortable telling everybody that watched and commented, particularly Eric and Aaron, Christopher, Owen, Bobbin, Dave, Michael, Harry, and of course, Matt. You know, Matt's not going to let us get away with anything. Thank you all very much for your words of encouragement.
I will say my wife also watched, and she her questions weren't about the racing. She was like, how drunk was Chrissy? Because she was rambling on and on and on. I said,
Probably
no.
Just sleep deprived.
I said they were very sleepy and very tired. And but Chrissy had to explain the entire track. So it was a long track. So, but my wife said it was.
We're looking at Chris, and there's a beautiful illustration of Laguna Seca right off of his right shoulder.
Truth.
That's right. So
Yep,
we are
Hey!
going to get to the Laguna Seca.
Topic time.
Laguna Seca Lucky Dog Hangover Show, and I want to first begin with saying thanks to Kathy, Mo, Dave, who isn't there, man, all the teams we met, the friends and family of the team that worked hard and fed us some amazing cheese board and charcuterie. I had to look
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. We're going to say some
gosh.
funny things about the weekend, but we loved every minute of it, and I just got to put a shout out to everyone that we hung out with. It was great. Now get ready to get bashed because we're going to make fun of you, but it's in love.
So I apologize. Last week I hyped us all up for the rally episode. That is coming up next week. We'll talk more about it. Santiago's already gotten back to us. He's like, oh, I feel all official because you guys sent me links to the show notes. It's going to be a great show this week. It's going to be a great show next week, even more so the week after that. We've got like 6 great shows in a row lined up. So,
but the 7th is going to be crap.
Yeah,
just
I was
so
like,
you know.
is this one a bad one? Like,
February-
how do you?
February 13th.
No.
February 13th is my birthday, so that one's just going to be. Anyway, tell me about getting out to California, because I saw one photo and it didn't surprise me. It just reminded me of how hardcore Chris is. We make fun of each other a lot, but Chris is like this hardcore guy, and he's a get it done. There's Jeff, who's the Swiss Army guy. Chrissy's got everything organized, but it looked like Chris fell asleep in a hallway.
Oh no, this is way. Oh,
that was
no.
Saturday.
Wait.
So so you guys hot-footed it out of Philadelphia, and then you did a cool tour. So tell me about getting to California, Chrissy.
Totally uneventful. Really nice. Like, we left, our first flight wasn't until 11, so we got to the airport. Like, we sticked around here. Like, we just packed. We're like, oh, this is great. We had like a great breakfast.
Meanwhile, Jeff woke up at 10:45 and stuffed everything into a bag.
No.
And ran to the airport.
No. He can tell
amazing.
his own story. But basically, it was just a long day of travel, and we stopped later in St. Louis, so it just ended up being long. And then we go ahead, mental, yes.
How did your food smuggling pass the TSA? It let you have a pie. Was everything frozen? Because you had a whole diatribe on that.
I'm so glad you asked. So we have pre-check because we race enough, elsewhere. So we have flown enough. We decided pre-check is the way to go. So I
pre-check for this guy.
He stood in line and we didn't. So that was awesome. So we put our bags through. We just, we didn't even take our shoes off. Did nothing. My bag gets swiped. And then I said, oh, okay. So, and I'm fine with it. There's no problem. I don't carry illegal things. There's no problem. So I get, so Chris is like out the door, down the hall. I'm like, wait, I got to wait for my bag. So
he's like, deuces, I'm out of here.
Kind of. And I'm like, we're hurrying for
I don't know Akbar over here. She's not with me.
We're at the airport like 2 hours early. So we're like, there's no reason to hurry.
Well,
so
how big was our line coming into the checkpoint?
2 people. One
0.
person?
We walked
up.
up.
Yeah, right.
There was 0.
We walked up to the edge.
They were waiting for us.
They're like, you
I've
can come.
never had a bad flight out of Philly. Philly's got it on lockdown. They need to fire everyone in Atlanta and bring Philly down.
As long as you're not flying out of Terminal C. Terminal C.
Yeah, don't do Terminal C. You're in trouble. So anyway, so they pull my bag and I'm like, no problem. He walks it over. He goes in the front pocket and
a whole pie. Tell me there was a pie.
No, and he was like, he pulls out my lunch. And so legit, like I have a plastic bag that has Chris's sandwich, my bag of food, and then like 2 oranges and that are already unwrapped, 2 bags of chips, right? So it's liquid.
Oh God! So if they're unwrapped, they're liquid.
He pulls out the bag and looks at it, and he was like, "Oh, what do you have here?" And I was like, "That's my lunch." So the thing is that my lunch is my lunch because I don't eat gluten. I have a bag of chicken salad.
A Ziploc bag.
A Ziploc bag of chicken salad. And then there's lettuce on top. So I made a deconstructed chicken salad on a salad in a plastic bag. But he's dying.
I think
broken.
we broke mental.
He's broken. He's broken. So he pulls it out and was like, okay. And he puts it away. So we think that he thought it was a gel and or liquid because it's a bag full of chicken salad. And I was like, yep, that's my lunch. And so it's in with oranges and chips. So we were just like, you can't. It's legit.
Yeah.
Good.
They didn't look at the rum. They just wanted the chicken salad. So.
Everything's a rum in there.
So 4 or 5 hours later, I'm sitting next to Chrissy. Pulls out a plastic fork and unzips her Ziploc bag, and I'm like, is that chicken salad on salad? That's the best lunch ever. I was a little jealous.
I know. And you ate your little bag of pretzels. I know. And because I've gotten made fun of, I decided you can deal with your own lunch, and I'm going to bring my own chicken salad on a salad. Yes. So that's how my food went on the plane.
All right, get to California. Nobody cares about the flight.
Mental ass.
I did.
know.
I thought you were totally joking about taking chicken salad on the plane. And
Oh,
you
no.
Silly
happened.
question, mental.
And the fact that they probably looked at the rum and said, no way these guys are terrorists. No friggin' way. There's way too much rum for them to be terrorists.
They were in little squeeze bottles. They were
Right. They were they weren't in we put them in things that
It's
like
under
shampoo.
3 ounces in a clear container, and it's a liquid.
And we only had one flight. The bunch of ladies pulled us off, looked in the bag, and they were like, "What is this?" And we're like, "That's rum." And they're like, "Ah, that's a great idea."
Well, then the one said to the other, said, "You're too young. How do you know what that is?" And she said, "Well, my mom's an enthusiast." So.
And they're like, "See ya." I mean, that was when TSA was getting money, so they were happier.
they weren't happy.
They weren't happy, but they weren't terrible. Anyway, so we got there on Friday. We got there. I was traveling all day Thursday. We were in a hotel down the street from the track. Friday's a tourist day, and then let's talk about Friday. Chris, tell us about Friday. Or actually tell us about Thursday and then Friday.
Yeah, well, Thursday, we get to the airport. We've already reserved our rental car, and I got to give a quick plug. National Rent-A-Car, especially if you get there, the Emerald Club, you just walk up into the row of cars, take an app on your phone, scan the QR code on the car, get in it, and drive away. It's fantastic. So we had this whole row of cars.
Show your ID at the gate.
Show your ID. But that's it.
Okay, all right. So I'll say, do they have the Nazi with the scanner and needs to see 14 forms of ID?
Yeah,
No,
it was hold your phone up with the barcode and then show your ID that it matches, and you leave. It's really fantastic. I've been thrilled every time we use it.
So ignore the Nissans, go straight to anything not Nissan, and scan and go.
There's all kinds of stuff. Like we've had over the years, I've had everything from a Challenger to Camry SEs to a brand new Maxima, a Limited Explorer, and I'm paying the mid-size rate for all this stuff. So it's worked out nicely. Though this time we walk up and there is row upon row of Nissan Rogues and Dodge Journeys and some sort of Kia. So
there were some pickups. There were a decent amount of pickups.
There's a couple Chevy Colorados, which if it weren't supposed to rain all weekend would have been fine, but in the rain, where are we going to put all our stuff? It's going to get wet. So we ended up settling on the 2018 Dodge Caravan GT. We picked they had a few Caravans, so we picked the murdered out all black GT model one, which
with black wheels.
Yeah, you
tinted.
did.
Right. It was a great choice for the weekend. We had a place to put all our bags. It's got the 286 horsepower Pentastar. Everything worked out great. The transmission tuning on it, not so good. But aside from that, it was great. So we had a fun drive. We went down through Santa Cruz to get down to our hotel in Monterey. The next day we said, let's drive down the PCH, because I've driven most of the southern and central part of the PCH, but never this section up here. So we drove the PCH down to a town called Lucia, which is only a town because there's one motel there. That's why it's a town. Anyway, that also is, there's all kinds of wonderful views up on the PCH there. If you've never driven it, I suggest
gorgeous.
doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Especially
all of
doing
them.
it something better than a Caravan. Like, if you had a nice day and an NSX with the top off, that would have been pretty all right.
Holy crap.
Right.
Yeah, it was still nice pictures. And if you guys haven't seen those on our Instagram, you should go look.
Yeah.
They were great shots.
So then after we took, basically when you're along the coast, there's a mountain range to your left, and it's a pretty significant and steep mountain range. There is one road through the mountain range within 100 and something miles. So we took that one road, and it is basically a goat track through the mountains and then through the woods.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, like, if there's another car coming, you both got to slow down, like, a lot and creep by each other to both fit at certain spots of the road. It's that kind of road. It's not quite the Oblivion Death Road, but it's not far off. So we did that, and we stopped at a little hole in the wall to have some fantastic tacos by these 3 Mexican grandmothers. It was so good. And
It was
worked our way-
amazing tacos.
Oh, seriously.
They came out in like one minute, maybe a minute 30.
I went
And
to the
they were
bathroom. By the time I came
$1.50
back,
each.
there's tacos out.
Yeah, like
Mental, you know the kind
honestly,
of place. Like,
yes. And there was no lights on. The decor was less than optimal.
It was
And-
like 1950s kitchen is what the decor was.
Yeah, I think there were 2 pictures up, and they were
Which-
just like it was.
Yeah,
that
to
yeah.
me, 1950s kitchen says you got to get some good eating.
oh yeah,
we did.
And
We did.
really,
We did.
it was the 3 grandmoms making the tacos, and they were delicious. The chorizo was on the spicy side, which Jeff and I thought was great.
Melted my face.
Yeah.
They melted my face, which my face melts
Yeah.
easier than yours.
The al
Oh, my face
pastor
melted
was
when
delicious.
when I ate the peppers from In-N-Out. That's what melted my face.
Uh-huh.
That was your own
So
fault.
anyway, we just worked our way back to Monterey and went to 2 different breweries, had some beer, and then worked our way over the track. By the time then, it was pouring rain, but we had a lovely, lovely day on Friday because when we bought our tickets, we were expecting we were going to be in the track on Friday, but Laguna wouldn't let us in because they were doing maintenance or something. They wouldn't let us in until 6:00, and they held the line on that, so we didn't get in until 6:00.
Even
Yeah,
though it was
absolutely.
raining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was raining like Noah was gathering animals. We're trying to figure out how much a cubit was. There was a lot of rain. And it was 6:01, 6:02, and everyone is like revving their motor trying to get in, and they still didn't let us in until about a few minutes after. And they had one guy, this track did, to get all of the papers signed. So,
Do your NASA, your
Yeah.
check-in.
dear,
That's That's
luckily-
a Carol Burnett sket right there, and it's probably like Dorf.
no, he was fine.
No, he was great. He was nice.
great. But Kathy sent a couple of her people to help, and then Chrissy and I jumped out and we helped. So we were able to like double the line in, and it got in pretty darn quick.
Of
actually,
course, you 2 helped.
yeah.
But we had the rain. So Jeff
It
had.
rained so bad.
It was and I didn't have a hood. I have a rain jacket, but I didn't have a hood. I didn't have the hood with me. So the rain is just like actually pouring down my face. So I'm trying to give the paperwork to the people and be like, print and sign. They know what they're signing, and I'm just like, they're like, oh, you look so sad, and I'm like, no, we're at the track, yay! And I'm just like trying to be excited because, and I don't mean to hijack super quick. I only had one guy that said, oh, you should go see the track from turn 7. It's really great. And I was like, oh, I'll see it on track tomorrow. And he was like,
oh, he's playing that game. Oh,
yeah.
I guess he said-
boobs. You can't drive a race car.
he was like, I think he said something like, where should we go? And I was like, it's my first time at the track. I don't really know. And then that's when he said, oh, go look at the track from turn 7. It's really great. And I was like, oh, I'll see it on the track tomorrow. And he was like, oh.
When I pass your punk ass.
You mean
seriously.
turn 8 because turn 7 is that little kink
He said
before.
he said corkscrew, I think, is what he said.
Whatever.
Either way,
Everybody else was nice, though.
dude's a douche.
Sure.
Yes.
So, all right, now to this, because I know, Chrissy, you spent a lot of time drawing your track map, and
Wait, we're not done Friday yet.
Oh, he didn't finish.
We still got Friday to do.
Hurry
So
up.
we get in. This is quick though. We get in. We talk to Kathy. We meet Mo, who is our team captain and car owner. So we are with another guy. It's car 21. It's an E36. And Kathy invites us all to come to the noob meeting because, hey, you guys have never been to a Lucky Dog event. Come to the noob meeting. So we sit at the noob meeting. It was great. It was a normal meeting. I wouldn't say there was anything spectacular to talk about. And then Chris was actually helping with tech line. So after the noob meeting, we go back.
Of course he was.
Well, we all offered to help. So we go back out to like, hey, let's go hang with Mo and crack a beer and look at the car. And there were some issues. Mo has a very short list that includes changing the transmission oil. And what else was on his list? Like
that was
fixing
it.
the
Swap the wheels over. That was
swap
it.
the wheels over.
Okay.
We immediately let's check the driver's seat. The wink mirror is not even connected to the roof. They put the wheels up, and Chris shakes it, and there is a 1/4 inch of play in the front wheel. He checks the passenger side, and there is an 1/8 inch play.
You laugh, but this isn't funny.
I checked the left rear wheel bearing, which you know how I feel about left rear wheels on E36s. The nut had backed off an 1/8 of a turn on that one from where it had been set. So we got to work because that's what we do. So we yanked the shocks. Yeah, we yanked the front suspension apart. Turns out what was loose in the front end. Also, the camber was totally uneven left to right on the camber plates. One was maxed out, one was in the middle. It didn't make any sense. So we yanked the front suspension apart. Turns out what was loose is when the conies were put into the strut housings, the nut on top of that holds it down was loose. So essentially it had like a pivot point in the middle because nothing was tightened down in the middle
body
of the strut. So it's a strut suspension.
The strut body, not at the top like the shaft nut that hits the body,
but in the
middle
where the
middle of the
right.
strut.
So we got all apart, got those fixed and back together, got everything tight on the top because actually one of the top ones was loose too. Just stuck a nut, a wrench on everything just to get it all tightened up. So we got all that sorted out. Got the wheels, the axle nuts retorqued and repeened over for things just to watch them for the next day, things like that. But they're kind of important. But that took us until about midnight. East Coast time, which
no,
is only
no.
It was
midnight West Coast time.
Yes, I meant West Coast time. Yes.
So
we were
4
only
in the morning East Coast time.
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
But by the
Chrissy?
time we get back, no, that's what I was going to say. So all of our time ends up getting. This is why Chris is dying on the wall by Saturday because this is where this whole thing starts. So Friday we're like, okay, so it's 4 a.m. our time. We start to lose track of what meal are we eating, what hour is it, because we're staying up and we're looking at our clock saying it's midnight and we're still working on a car, but in our brains it's 3 a.m. East Coast time. Yes, Chris.
I was saying, in Mo's defense, he's a fairly new team owner. He's done a single-digit number of races. So it's things that you just don't know to look for. And actually, we got a lot of great show ideas from this race. So, like Mo, super nice, friendly, big-hearted guy.
Absolutely.
Like, what a wonderful person. He just hasn't done this enough to know what
it hasn't gone wrong enough for him.
Exactly. So I think
we're going to talk about Mo later.
Yeah, he learned a lot this weekend, though. But
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Chrissy.
Yep.
I think I was going to say, add to that I think the car was gifted to him. I think.
Yes.
So I think that's.
About that later,
I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, no, and that all makes sense. So you spend until way wee hours of the morning, dawn the next day for you guys, getting the car ready. You don't get to get on the track because you were only allowed on the track Saturday morning. We talked about this last week, but you all got a little bit of the track Saturday morning, or yes or no?
We got 2 laps each. There were 6 drivers on our team. We each got 2 laps, except for the one FNG, who we didn't know was an FNG. He'd never been on the track in his life. So
we did know that.
And I want to get to that. But so Chrissy did mountains of prep for this. You tattooed the track map on your eyelids. Jeff worked too much. What was your initial impression?
I watched a lot of videos Friday night.
What was your initial impressions of Laguna WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca? Chrissy or Chris?
Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
The pit facilities were great. Like the garages, just lots of room in the paddock, nice garages that there were walk-through garages. So if you had the garage, it had doors on both sides, so you could have your truck and stuff on one side, and the other side you could walk right out to where pit lane was right there. So it was really convenient to have that nice right there. So that was great. The corkscrew, it's not scary. The first time you do it and know you have to turn a certain spot and point at the tree, then that's it. Like, it's not scary anymore, but it's fun. But what the part that I liked the best was the corners, the corkscrew combo, like the 8 through 10 combo. Turn 9 took me a while to gain the testicular fortitude to go through 9, and I didn't quite have it all. It's like the last downhill turn at Road Atlanta. You have to just know you can do it, and just go. And there you go.
I'm glad you brought up the downhill at Atlanta, because I was expecting that kind of scariness, and it wasn't. It was
at the corkscrew. You were expecting the corkscrew. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was definitely technical, and I'm not sure I got it right in my time. Definitely the section between the corkscrew and turn 11, I guess 8, 9, 10 section, I thought was probably the most difficult part of the track.
Absolutely. I also like turn 6 quite a bit. It's up as you're halfway up the hill. There's a left there that it's, if you take it right, you don't have to slow down nearly as much as you think you can, mostly because right at the apex there's a ton of camber. There's like a dip which actually kind of sucks the car down into this dip. So you would not be able to hold it at speed if it weren't for that thing that sucks you down. The other part about that, though, is if you screw it up and you spin and go to the inside, you hit the wall that's right there. So that's the Porsche line. So you have to be careful, but if you do it right, it's great. And you really, I just think that's what I thought was the most fun about it. Turn 6 is just getting the confidence to do it, and then the 8 through 10 combo, not because it's scary, but because it's challenging, and there's a lot of nuance to it. And with an hour in the car, I didn't get it, but I like the fact that I don't get a track after an hour. I got more to learn. So,
excellent.
So overall, great fun track to drive. I would highly recommend it. 10 of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely say it's a good track. It's not as tight as it seems on TV. Some of the other sections definitely make it more of a power rewarding track. I thought there was more sweepy power on times, especially because of the elevation. If you're not in the right gear, if you don't have the right torque, it's going to suck the power out of your car. So yeah, bring the big block. Yeah. That's what I think about the track.
All right, and this is the thing is I drive like Chris, but I not as good, and I think like Jeff, but not as good. I really want to hear Chrissy's opinions because you're the one that did the most work preparing for this.
So we didn't have any testing on Saturday. I'm sorry, we had no actual testing on Friday. Saturday morning, we all did 2 laps, except for the effing new guy is the FNG, and nobody realizes that. I think I did know that he was an effing new guy. And we were concerned, but he was very, he had the attitude of he didn't care. He knew what he was doing. So we probably that should have been more of a alert than we realized.
He kind of stayed away from us on Friday. We didn't really.
But somebody told
not our
him,
team. That's a tough
no,
part.
But somebody told him or something that I walked the track with him. Like I looked at my track map and went through the track map with him. He seemed like, I don't really care, but I was just trying to tell him like what he should know because that's what we all talked about. So, anyway, so when we got on track on Saturday morning, it was still slick because it was wet because of the rain from Friday night. It was still slick. So my first so I only have 2 laps. I only went through turn 11, which is a crazy corner. It's a normal, very hard.
It's like 110 degree left.
Yes. So,
onto the straight.
But it is, it seems really tight and it's a hard corner and there's walls everywhere and it's just kind of an intimidating corner that you sometimes have to just drift through. But I went through once and it was so slippery and I was like, a lot of the corners were still slippery at that time. So I was still concerned before I got on track. And then once I got on later, it was awesome. So I agree with everybody's sentiment earlier. I think I really liked 6. I felt like I was doing 9 pretty well. So 9 is this huge sweeper that is way downhill. So you've already taken the corkscrew and then you kind of have to sweep back out and then you just kind of look, it's straight down. It's a normal, sweeping late apex corner and it's kind of intimidating. There's like a tree there, and you're kind of like going through it. It's pretty awesome. I felt like it was one of those like turbo power corners. It was like, I think I did a lot of.
No, absolutely.
It was fun. It was like really. I think overall, I think this is initial impressions. So yes, I think 11 scared me. The drainage in 3 is terrible and did not dry all times that we went through on Saturday. And every time I went through, I was pussyfooting through because I went through it. You would get loose. There's plenty of people that actually got loose, spun off, hit walls, that kind of stuff.
Not walls, but yes, I went off there.
Did you spin off?
At between 2 and 3, I went 4 off.
Oh,
not spin. I went,
but
4
not at 3. So
not
people
at
were
3.
Watching.
Yeah.
We were watching
there was a water off the track the whole weekend. Yeah.
Yes, right. Saturday at least. We didn't see the track on Sunday. Sure. But our new friend Aaron Sloman, got to give him a shout out. Hopefully he listens to the show. Because
Aaron's an old friend. Yeah.
Oh, but he's fantastic.
Kiwi. Yeah, he's great.
Yes, so we talked to him a lot this weekend, and
he sent us pictures on Facebook that he took with you guys. It was great.
Yeah. Yes, that happened. But anyway, he's had all kinds of videos on Facebook today about him spinning there, and I told him it was just because it was.
I'll have to check those out.
Bad driving. Yes.
I was also going to mention that I definitely, after the 2-lap testing, whatever, found no grip whatsoever.
Agreed.
And then I opened. So I don't know if this fits in the initial set.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the start, Jeff?
The start was great. I'll say that the rolling 2x2 start, I was right on the bumper of the red E30 that was pit next to us, and he was totally up for it because he was right on the bumper of the guy next to him and in front of him, and it went green and there was absolutely no drama, and we all got through 2, 3, 4 without any trouble, got a little spread out, and me and that E30 were door handle to door handle for probably 3, 4 laps, and we got out, we shook each other's hand later in the day once we figured out who each other was. And I said, man, that's great. I'm a Lemons racer, and this is like normal for us. And he said, Lemons racer too. I could tell you knew what you were doing.
And that is an excellent segue to the next point, because we had a great discussion about Lucky Dog. We all know we love Kathy, and we want to talk about Lucky Dog racing. But let's get those initial impressions of Lucky Dog. Chrissy, what did you think? I know you guys all had high hopes, and I think rightfully so.
We had high hopes. I feel like we didn't. There was some not concern is not the right word. It's something new. So we have not raced with this series, so we had some reservations. We were kind of something new. So anyway, we love Kathy. Kathy is fantastic. She's so patient. At least to everyone's face, because sometimes she's running an event. I occasionally saw her in because we were pitted
anger mode.
Yes, but we were pitted with her husband, so there was plenty of things that were going on what the stresses of what she needs to handle. But it's so awesome because she cares about everyone. So anytime she talks to somebody, she is just gives them a hug, is just cares about what they have to say, which is awesome. So unfortunately, we just didn't get to talk to many other racers because we were working on the car. So if we did talk to them, it was kind of in passing. But I felt like everybody was really down to earth. And I know both of you are going to talk about the rest of the racers and the kind of attitude that they had. But the event was great. Like we said, the low-key new kid meeting, which was awesome. Lots of encouragement, lots of just excitement to get on track. And we loved the taco and booze party.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome. Jeff had like 50 tacos.
I did. I went back for seconds. I wanted to make sure that we took a moment to shout out Richard. Richard was great. That is Kathy's husband. He got us parts.
Greg.
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I called him the wrong name.
Young Greg.
Yeah. Young Greg was great. He wasn't young. He's the same age as us.
He's not old.
But he
exactly.
He was great. He got us parts. Like Mo had a lot of parts. It's not that we needed a ton of parts, but when we needed stuff, he got it. He was managing a team in the top 5 the whole time and still had, time to help us find a tool. We've raided his toolbox a lot.
also a lot of theory. So he helped with a lot of theory because we are not so keen on the car, and it used to be his car, or he at least worked on it or whatever. So I think he does work on it a lot.
We're not familiar with E36s,
so he was really good on theory. So lastly, I think Kathy had fantastic staff, lots of people willing to help, making sure that everybody had a good time. Everybody that we saw was smiling and happy, and it's nice to see. Not that Lemons folk aren't, just really happy, great, good people.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Chris, what do you think?
I quite enjoyed the friendly, happy people there. They're friendly and happy, but they're also fairly serious about this stuff, but not in a bad way. Like, sometimes you get that. Like, if you're serious, you are super serious business. I don't know how much of this...
I am a race car driver!
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of the fact of is that we got out of the East Coast and we got to the West Coast where people are generally just happier. Like, they just are.
Yeah.
Right. Or just the fact that that's the kind of group this attracts. Whatever it is, they're serious, but they're happy and they're friendly enough. Even when they're really, like, into it, they're still, like, friendly enough. Like, that's great. It was a smaller crowd, but that was intentionally limited. They sold out in 2 minutes, and that made for a lot of good racing. There was a lot of room for racing, but you were never really alone. There was always someone around, so you weren't doing a track day by yourself like some series on the East Coast. In general, I was quite pleased. If we lived out there, we would totally be regulars, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about it as we keep going through the questions. And in a very non-confrontational way, you had some reservations about the safety, about how they were running their pits. Did anything stand out to you, or you just kind of go, is it what I would do, but they've got this figured out, or meh?
I might have changed a part in the hot pit in my street clothes.
Yeah, we got a picture of that. That's all I'm asking.
But that was totally legal. Like, that was
totally legal.
Totally
I probably wouldn't do it if it was my series. I probably would have required that work to be in a suit and helmet.
Okay. But you guys felt safe the whole time, clearly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because there are people might be fueling next to you. They all have to be in gear, but you 8 feet away, one way.
Work on it, no problem.
Right.
Okay.
So,
It's kind of like the AER rules, or the AER community, where you stake a spot on the pit wall. And if you're on this side of the pit wall, you can be in your civvies. But when you jump over, you should be in your suit. Except they said you can jump over in your civvies if you're not fueling.
Okay.
Which is really convenient when you're just putting a driver in the car and not fueling. You don't have to suit up. You just hop over the wall and do it. So, I mean, it was convenient, but I can't imagine going wrong by having anyone over the wall in gear, especially for policing. But they had a lot of staff.
Excellent. All right, so Jeff, now you've been talking, but I still want to hear your impressions of Lucky Dog.
Sure. I just want to say that the kinds of cars and the number of cars made it kind of feel like AER, except without the uber fast cars. Like, the speed creep quotient wasn't there. Everything, her rule is 15 years or older. So it had a good family vibe, personality driven of Kathy. We already mentioned it really wasn't like business, but it was more serious. It was like
Chris, you had a comment about the speed quotient.
Oh.
Well, it's in AER has a high douchebag quotient, and Lucky Dog does not. And
does not.
And there, if a car is too fast, Kathy will not have them back, and she'll put them in a super dog class, and she'll tell them they got to slow down because they're just too fast for the field. They don't fit in the field and are making it unsafe because too much of a speed differential. So, but she does that from the top, not the bottom. A normal, well-adjusted Mike can still be out there running his A Series Mini, which is moving pretty well, but still, like, that's okay. But if someone was too fast, she would talk to him about it.
Yeah, Mike and his drivers all had great discipline too. They always saw you coming in their mirror. They always gave point buys, and you knew what to do. I kind of see it though, like, they're not regulating the speed creep by a rule set. They're regulating the speed creep by personality. Kathy makes this conversation that you're too fast or you're too slow, and I'll make the decision, and what I say goes. So it's still personality driven, like Jay at Lemons, but without the jokes.
Or Steve, or
yeah. Or probably like I hear the opening of Chump was. It was serious.
because that
Serious
was Kathy
racing.
and Eric.
I'm getting there because
it's not on your list.
It is. It says imagine that. It was just like the early days of Jump. All right. Anyway, Irate Dogs, which is one of my favorite Instagrams, would say this dog is great, goes fast, includes tacos, heck of good fun. 13 out of 10.
Now, before I go to the next question, Jeff, have you seen the 2018 We Rate Dogs video in a wrap-up?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. All right. Anyway, all right. So set the stage for us, Jeff. Tell us about the team. Tell us about the car. We've heard a little bit about he's a new car owner and he just hasn't had enough stuff go wrong. Kind of like our friends over at Garage Heroes in Training. You know,
absolutely.
So tell us about Mo.
So Mo is great. He is the car owner. He did not build the car. It was gifted to him by Kathy and Greg in tribute to his son who passed away. His son passed away right before his 21st birthday, and this race was the 1 year anniversary of him running his first race. So it was racing for Chase, and we honored Chase, even though we never met him, by doing our best to keep his team rolling. Mo is like a lot of people who got into this thing. He's got good wrenching ability, but not a ton of racing experience. So like us 10 or 15 years ago, or like Bill, if he didn't listen to a great podcast like Everyone Racers. So he knew how to turn a wrench, but he needed a checklist. You know, he needed to know how to check his wheel bearings, and there's a few other things that could make that car, with a little bit of prep, a whole lot faster. And he and his guys probably could get to a track day and get some instruction. They're ready for that. But I didn't have any problem with them. If Mo came out to the East Coast, he could get in one of my cars today as he sits. We just make sure we take him on the track walk and teach him good.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Chris, what do you think?
Like Jeff said, it's a newer team. Mo and Dave, especially, they've been doing it for a while. Dave is Dave is a Lemons racer. Out the West Coast, he's on the team that built the Porsche 944 that had the Chevy C10 nose on it, the pickup truck nose on it, right?
Love those guys.
He's one of those guys. So he's a very quiet, mild-mannered guy, but so nice, totally down to wrench. Even if he didn't quite know what he was doing, he's down to do it. He'll listen, he'll try the best he can, and just super friendly, nice guy. He
got under the car when the floor was dirty. Jeff's like, all right, I'll get under the car, and Dave's like, I'll get under the car too. And he helped Jeff under the car. It was just gross, and we're all sad.
Wait. So is he Dave the dishwashing fairy?
No.
He's much more useful than that.
That hurts, man.
Well, it's true.
I think it's funnier when Dave was out of character and he came over and yelled at me for parts. I was trying to keep track of everything that was going on, so I was cleaning tools constantly because people kept asking where a tool was, and then he would come over and yell at me because everybody was yelling at me, but I guess he had to be there. But when he came over, it was out of character for him.
Do I need to fly out to the West Coast and choke some bitches?
No. It's nothing like that at all.
Okay.
So it's one of those inside jokes that happen and then it continued.
So I'm looking left and Chrissy is on my right shoulder and I have no idea where she was. So I go, Chrissy! And Mo is standing next to me. Mo is standing next to me, staring at Chrissy, what is this jackass's problem? I go, Chrissy, take a picture of this. And he turns around and yells, Chrissy, why is Jeff yelling? And it kind of became the thing we did
the whole weekend. Yeah. Everybody sees me standing there, and everybody just decides to yell. That's just how it went down.
Kathy found the right team for you, is what it sounds like.
Except for the new guy, but other than that.
He's one of us.
Yeah, we said, great attitude, and I think we helped them learn a bunch this weekend, which that was what made it kind of like an everyone racers weekend. Is we were there running and racing, we were also helping people learn and helping them improve their skills and getting better. We had to race a boring E36, but when it was running well, it was pretty good. It understeered a lot.
Car.
It understeered a lot. The alignment wasn't right, but aside from that, it was a great car. Yeah.
Awesome. Chrissy,
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Tell me about these guys. No. You have some stuff.
You got a lot.
No, they were open to feedback. It was great, and that was helpful. As Chris said, Mo learned a lot, so that was awesome that he was willing to listen and open to us just saying, he just was like, I don't know what to do. Tell me. And we were like, oh, okay, great. So thanks. Also, we got there, and so I guess the other issue was that it's not what we planned. So we kind of went in and thinking we're going to race with Randy and in the well-prepared E36. By late Friday, we realized that that's not what we're going to do. And so we all needed to like reset ourselves, seriously change our mindsets, and like step back and say, okay, our goals and expectations changed. Now we have to think we're here to just have a really good time and run a bucket list track, and we're here. Let's make the best of it. Go, Chris.
I want to say that was not due to a lack of planning. It was really because the car we were supposed to run, Greg's other E36, got rolled at the last race, and it has not been fixed being repaired yet.
Rolled by Greg.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I'm completely comfortable with saying Randy took your seat and screwed us.
No, I think it was he was in his car, but we just didn't realize the cars and which one we were supposed to be in.
But Randy took your seat. Randy took your seat.
Greg stacked all the best drivers in the best car to attempt to win the race. And came pretty close.
Yeah. They were in the same lap. But even if they won, it didn't matter because they just won. Because Kathy was like, whatever, this car is stacked with pro drivers. Why would it matter?
Of course they're going to win.
They give the second person to the third. It was awesome.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So I keep saying we, and I'm being inaccurate on that one. But you guys, you didn't get very far, but you had a lot of race style experience, endurance race style experience, even though not a lot of laps. So, Chris, tell me about the race.
Chris, why don't you tell everyone exactly how many hours we got? Because we haven't really gotten that yet.
Stack it up.
We each raced for 1 hour, basically.
Which is not a disaster.
I'm sorry.
By some of our scales.
Except for the three of us raced for 1 hour, and Dave raced for 1 hour because we started off. We figured out the driver order. Jeff started. Dave went second, and then I ended up going third because there was a long red flag from a car that went into the barrier to fix the barrier. So anyway, Laguna has an interesting thing they've implemented this year is that they mandate that you must stop your race at 1 o'clock for half an hour for lunch break for the workers. The workers are not in favor of this. They would rather the race keep going on like everywhere else, apparently. That's what we hear. But the track has mandated this must be. So Lucky Dog is trying to make it that the race essentially pauses for this half hour. You pull into the grid, not to your pits, to the grid, and you get out of the car and walk away. You cannot check tire pressures. You cannot torque lug nuts. The only thing I saw people okay to do was wash the windshield. That was it. No fuel, nothing. Then you go back out. So that was my shift. Is I had half an hour where I'm starting to get the hang of things, and then I come in for half an hour, sit around, then go back out, and fairly quickly realized the car was out of gas, even though it was above a quarter tank and the gas light was not coming on. Like we're used to Hamza's E36, where you can run that thing deep into the tank before it gives you a problem. We weren't even there, and it was totally cutting out on me a lot. So I had to stop and throw some gas in it, and I'd get back in the car, keep going. About 3 laps later, we get called for a black flag mechanical for noise, which, by the way, everybody was getting called for noise at Laguna because it's 92 decibels, and they are serious about it. So almost every car had an extra muffler stuck at the back, or at least a 90-degree elbow pointing their exhaust to the left, away from the sound station. Like I started taking pictures of them when I was in tech of all the different things people had done to their exhaust to do this. Yeah. So, but here's the thing:
and let's mention that the noise rule is the same as the fueling rule in Lemons. You get 1 shot to fix it.
No.
You get 3.
If you get the third one, you're on the truck and you're going home for the weekend.
Yeah.
Not for the day, for the weekend.
That's harsh.
They called us for sound. Our car had a completely stock exhaust, like stock muffler. It was the quietest car on track. When no one else is around, you'd see it go by and you couldn't hear it. So when I went to pulled into the pits and they said sound violation, we said no effing way. So I think I go up to where the guy is for penalty-ish, and I said, like, supposedly I'm here for sound violation, but listen to this, and I rev it up to about 5,000. I said it's a stock exhaust, and he said, Yeah, I don't know. That's just wrong. Go ahead. So I go back out. But when they threw the meatball at me, I said, "Well, like, am I dripping something?" So I backed way off for that lap just in case something's wrong. No, it was just they thought I was last. So anyway, I had 1.5 hour that was okay, and by the time I was starting to get the hang of it in the second half, I keep having to come in. So it's sad. But hey, the time I had, I actually really enjoyed, and that's why I want more, because I had a taste, a sweet, sweet taste.
I'd like to mention that it took Chris 4 or 5 laps, depending on how you count, to beat my best time. I'm a little bitter about that, but Chris, I will say that
Chris, it took you 4 laps. Did you have a fever?
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't have a Red Bull. I had no Red Bull.
Normally it takes like 2 laps to batter everybody.
No. A, Jeff was doing well. B, the track was drier. And C, he had a rear sway bar and I didn't.
I go back to my initial statement. Chris, did you have a fever? Were you nauseous?
I couldn't do my pre-race ritual.
Someone stabbed you.
Yeah, right. We didn't have any Red Bull.
Right.
It's true.
So I missed out.
Bathrooms. You couldn't pee.
Right.
And you couldn't go be awesome.
I dominated 2 laps later than I usually would have because of the lack of Red Bull. So, yeah. Anyway. It was but in general, it was a good time. The other drivers were appropriate. There was some close racing, but they were not overly pushy. But not trying to, not pussyfooting. They were racing. They were racing hard. They would get close enough, but not too close. They were fair with their point buys and fair with their passes. I think everyone was generally well behaved. I liked it.
Excellent. Cool. Yeah. Jeff, tell me about your experience.
Oh, yeah. Chris is absolutely right. The race was tight. There were some fun traditions. I definitely didn't hear anybody complaining about classing. I hear a lot more complaining about classing in the Lemons paddock, even though without qualifying, it was pretty arbitrary, but whatever. The pit setup was odd to us, this jumping over the wall and stuff. And then at the end of the race, for like the green flag, maybe 2 in, they all go to the wall and clap.
Yes. I've been in a lot of other series where they do that.
Under
that was
hot
cool.
green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hot green. We're across the hot pits in our regular clothes, leaning over the wall onto the track surface. And then people start coming to our wall to drive like right next to us, which was it was a little dangerous, I'm going to say. I was feeling a little concerned at that point, and I looked at Chrissy, and we both looked at each other, and we looked through the grit in our eyes because
oh my God, all of us were like, no!
We're like, why are they coming over here? Like, the line is over there. Stay over there. And I said, I'm going to take half a step back.
Yeah, it was bad.
All right. Now, again, Chrissy, we have show notes, folks. We don't edit, but we do have show notes. I think Chrissy has the funniest comment right here. Please, Chrissy, tell me about your impressions of the race.
Oh, there was a race. Oh, that's right. I didn't realize we weren't in it, so we didn't know there was a race. Sometimes we heard cars going around, vroom, 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 vroom. And they were like, oh, what happened? Because we're on the car. We were like, oh, is it our car? Oh, wait, our car's still in the garage. It's not our car. Cool. So that happened. Other than that, it was a fine race. We watched on Race Monitor. We cared a little bit, and on Sunday, we were 49th out of 52, only because our team name started with C. And
they alphabetized.
There were 5 other people behind us. On a side note, I hung my track map up outside of our garage, and it was a pretty well-traveled place. It was the first garage that people have to walk by, and it was also above a trash can. People were going over to it. And a lot of people walked up to it and were, like, looking at it. And then
it was a good track map.
I was just
the 3 of us can all see it. It's a phenomenal track map.
Random dudes were just, like, looking at it, and they're like, oh, okay, here this corner. And every once in a while, I was like, I made that. And they're like, you did? Wow.
Wow.
And also, we used it in our team to talk about different corners, especially with the F&U guy. But we just looked at it, and it was good. And, it was a teaching tool for me, forced Chris to watch a lot of video, and it ended up being good for everybody else.
Now, we have talked about the car, and we talked about it on the video. We talked about the car dying. What happened to the car?
All right, so let me say real quickly, Chris mentioned that we all got our hours in, and then we put the new guy in who had no training. And I have to tell you the story. I forgot to mention that the very first thing when I met Mo that he did was spill gear oil all over me.
Oh, I forgot to mention that.
So I smelled like gear oil. So like the only wrenching clothes I had with me were absolutely disgusting. So during Chrissy's shift, I was like, hey, everyone, I'm taking the van and I'm going to Target to buy new clothes.
No, I told you had to go out and go buy new clothes
it was
because
disgusting.
I didn't want to stand next to you.
It was
anymore.
like, so I come back to the pits. I come back after buying my clothes. Thank you, discount rack at Target. And I'm like, this is cool. I have another pair of clothes and I'll be able to hang out at these in the track all weekend. And Chrissy is there in her civvies and the car, and Chris and everyone is under the hood. And I'm like, Chrissy, what happened to the car? And, cars are going, row, row, row. So, it's kind of hard to hear. And I hear, I'm money shifted. And my brain goes, Chrissy, money shifted?
And
Never.
I'm talking.
No.
I would put my retirement account on Chris money shifting before Chrissy.
I've tried
Chris will never money shift.
And I'm
Never.
like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
She's like, yeah, money shift. I guess it's just money shift. I guess it happens. And I'm sitting there going, holy cow. Like with a totally straight face. I have no idea what to say.
I'm like smiling. I'm like, oh
and
my
yeah,
God,
she's smiling and laughing. Like, damn, money shift happens to the, and I'm like,
oh, I did not say that.
And then you go, new guy, what do you expect? And I go, oh, thank God. And for a minute, I thought you money shifted it.
No.
Of the four of us, Chrissy is least likely to ever money shift.
That was my shock.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't actually engage it.
I would have had a stroke. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That is hysterical.
Not me.
So hysterical. So the new guy money shifted. If you haven't seen the video, go over to Everyone Racers on Facebook and watch the live video. They show the whole thing. Chris, you've got something on this.
Well, just in general, what happened is the car didn't come around for a while. Like, we're looking at the lap time. So where's the car? And then finally on the radio.
Just been for four laps. Hold on.
Yeah.
So I got out. Chris and I are talking, and somebody's watching Race Monitor. So, and he's a new guy. So we're watching Race Monitor. We're like, okay, he's got, 225. Like, we're running two flats. So 225, really pretty slow, but new guy. So fine.
He had picked up. He was up to like the 208. So we're like, all right, he's getting comfortable. That's fine. It's a fine place for him to be, right? And then he didn't come around after the 208, and we're like, what's going on? And then finally on the radio, I think I blew a head gasket.
We're like, you don't just know
you don't
that.
know that, really. All right, fine. So whatever. The car comes in the hook. It stops there. He starts telling me how he thinks it's a head gasket. And I said, oh, hang on. Just don't diagnose it for me. Tell me the symptoms. Tell me what happened. He's like, well, I shifted and then it over-revved and then it died. So I think the head gasket's gone. I said, no, hang on. So you shifted and it over-revved? I said, okay, money shift. All the valves
pretty
are down.
much.
I said, try to start it. And we hear click, click, click.
Nothing.
Click. That's it. So I said, we push it in the garage and said, get out. This is going to be a while. So
now, I don't want to sell new guy completely down the river.
He's not going to listen to the show. So it's cool.
Yeah, fair enough. So, but when you guys posted that on Facebook and the Instagram, new guy money shifted, our friend and future guest, he doesn't know this yet, but Josh Jenny, fellow extreme experience instructor, said, as the new guy who blew the motor, it is his job to get on Craigslist, find a new motor and go and get that motor and bring it back to the track. And I typed all this up and I sent it to you guys, and your reply was, Chrissy?
Done. Found a motor. Go get it.
Well, he didn't find it, but he got it.
That on the video.
Oh no! Well, he shouldn't find it. He's a new guy.
Yeah,
Sure.
He went to go get it. He paid for it. He brought it back, and he is a California Highway Patrol officer. And it was just about an hour away, and the yard.
Hour and
24 minutes away per Google, and we were an hour and 10 minutes from them closing. But he made it. So.
He may have broken a few local laws on the way and on the way back. And, hey, you know what? I'm going to give another prop to the new guy. He hung around and helped as much as he could. He did not have a whole ton of a wrenching ability, but, man, he was there. dirty as hell and moving as much as he could and doing everything he could. So, like what he needs is an HPDE and some instruction.
Yeah. The thing that was different about this, for what we're used to in Lemons Paddocks, where motor swaps happen all the time, we pulled it in and I said, let's pull the plugs and see how bad it is. And when we pulled number 2 plug out, it came out really, really hard.
Smashed.
And that was because there was nothing left on the other side. The electrode was gone. Everything was gone. There was nothing there.
And again, go look at our Instagram and go look at that video on Facebook, because that plug is sheared,
annihilated.
off.
Yeah. So as soon as that happened, Mo was like, "Oh, I guess we're done." And I said, "What are you talking about? There's a paddock full of BMWs. Someone's got to have an E36 motor around here. What are you talking about?"
Somebody's got a motor.
Right. So I pull up carpart.com. I was like, all right, there's a junkyard in San Jose who's got one. I call up. I talk to Amir at the junkyard. Yeah, they've got it. I said, we just blew up at Laguna Seca. Can we come get it? He's like, all right, I'll stay open like 15 minutes late, but that's it. I said, all right, we're on our way. So, hey, Amir was right. He had it pulled. It was ready to go. They loaded it up. We had a Lucky Dog motor swap. And almost got it done.
So new guy's karma is balanced.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long
80%.
as long as he goes to an HPDE before
I
he
feel
ever
like
gets back on track.
His attitude was bad.
Yeah, he had a little concerning attitude when we mentioned HPDEs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't need that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And his wife was like, yes, you do.
Yeah, that happened.
She was cool. We liked them.
She was great.
Yeah.
All right. So this episode has gone really long, but I bet everyone's still listening because everyone was really looking forward to this episode. Now, I appreciate the trip trip home, the shout out on the Instagram and the Facebook. Even my wife tagged me in the Facebook photo. I cried a little. But tell me about the trip home.
Oh, we went up to Santa Cruz for the night because we said, well, let's go to Santa Cruz. Says, Jeff, tell us about how you described Santa Cruz at the McDonald's for breakfast the next morning at 6:00 in the morning.
So Santa Cruz, when you're an East Coaster like I am, that's like words on a T-shirt. It's like a life. It's like Narnia. Like, it exists, but it doesn't really exist in your mind. Like, it could, like, if you saw a shirt at Target and it was like Santa Cruz and it had like a sunset on it and a surfer on the back, you'd be like, yeah, okay, that's what Santa Cruz is. Santa Cruz is actually a town full of hipsters, but we got some great beer, so there it is.
Yeah,
it actually exists.
We stopped at this place called the Pour House. Well, we were going to go to a place that Jason Ross had recommended. That was a fancy, super fancy beer place.
Shout out to Jason.
Yeah,
he came to the track.
He did. He showed up in his Alpha 4 cheese, and yeah, it just hung out.
That's awesome.
It was great to see him.
That's awesome.
So he told us a place to go in Santa Cruz. That place ended up being closed when we got there. So we went to the Pour Room, which was super cool. It was basically a place you walk in. They give you this wristband that with an RFID in it, and then along one wall is maybe 70 taps with screen, little like iPad minis built in them right above the taps. You touch which beer you want. It tells you about it. Then you decide how big a pour you want of it, and then put your wristband up to it so it knows it's you. Then you pull the tap. It pours out how much you've said, and you're done. You keep going. And then they had delicious food, too.
That is so dangerous.
It was so awesome, though.
But they counted for you how many ounces you had. And I think at some point it might actually cut you off and then make.
Oh, I think you can have this many more of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know
4 available.
Well, we didn't get close.
No way. Yeah,
each screen is a tap. Look at that picture.
I saw it. I didn't realize it was like, oh, it just pay as you go. I'm like, oh, here, just.
No, you actually pay at the end, and then you realize, holy cow, we drank how much?
Yeah.
That's where I would get into trouble.
It wasn't the cheapest place, but it was damn good. I was so filled with beer, you could have rolled me out of that place.
The food too.
Like
the food was not
3.
cheap. But.
No.
But it was delicious.
It was very good, and big portions too. I expected it to be like tapas size.
No, this was big.
Okay, no, that's cool. All right, so Chrissy.
We didn't get a ticket, even though I thought we would. We fed the meter, and Chrissy wiped off the X on the parking thing on the half-hour spot. So that was good.
Oh, that happened.
Yeah, well, she ain't dumb.
Chrissy, you want to tell us about the hotel and stuff?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we picked out a great hotel, Chris. Our main focus was a hot tub, a sufficient hot tub. That was our after race goal of when we drive and visit another track, a hot tub is awesome. So we found a great hotel, which was funky, and
very
it was
cool.
great. It was really cool.
The hot tub was huge and so hot it was like burning my skin off.
We sat outside. It was so hot.
And then a tattooed lady and a toddler joined us. That was the best part, I thought.
Yeah. Well, also the pool was awesome too. We went in the pool because it was just as warm. And then we drank a lot of Baileys because we had to, because we bought a jug of Baileys and we didn't drink it.
I would have helped a lot more if you didn't fill me up with beer first. They're like, Jeff, you gotta drink more Baileys. I'm like, I can't.
These are our problems. Isn't this sad?
Yes.
Okay.
Kirkland signature, by the way.
So
if you're wondering what brand.
All right, and this is a it's a subtlety, but basically what I'm getting at is an enthusiastic 2 thumbs up from everybody.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That is awesome.
100%.
Would love to go back.
This has been a double-sized episode. Yes, we will absolutely go back. Thank you all for indulging my interview style on this one. And I think now it's moving on to Chrissy, if you would please introduce the next segment.
Hello, sweet or but terrible.
That was the most unenthusiastic hello, sweet or but terrible. But I will. I don't think you yell for hello, sweet. It's hella sweet or but terrible.
This is the joy. This is the joy of Chrissy introducing all the segments. Is you have no idea what's coming, man.
Let's just get to it.
You just better be prepared for it. You did it fine. Jeff is
hella
wrong.
sweet or but terrible. This is where somebody brings up a topic and everybody else tells them whether it's stupid or totally stupid.
Before you get into this, Jeff, I want to. There's a meme going around right now on the interwebs, and it's the initial scene from the original Fast and Furious.
Yes,
where he rolls.
Exactly.
Well, no. Before that, where he rolls up next to the Ferrari in the 4th gen Supra. He goes, "Hey, what's the retail on one of those?" The guy revs the Ferrari. Goes, "More than you could afford, pal." Ferrari. So now that the unmolested 4th gen Supra is sold on Jalopnik for double what a typical Ferrari goes for, that's the running joke now. As rolls up next to it, he goes, "Oh, nice Supra. How much is it?" "More than you could afford, pal. 4th gen. So tell us about your Hella Sweet.
So yeah, the Hella Sweet or But Terrible is actually the 5th gen, I guess we're calling it, or the GR Supra is out. Unless you don't have the internet, you would not know this because it is on the cover of every single magazine in creation. It was the worst kept secret.
YouTube keeps suggesting that as an advertisement for every video I watch.
Absolutely. The marketing hype is there. We have all seen it. It finally came out, and all the car guys do nothing but complain. This is I don't know what's going on here. It's anyway, what does E1R think of the newest Halo car out of Toyota/BMW? Do you want me to do the basics in case you haven't heard? It is a Toyota and BMW design chassis. It's also used in the Z4 front engine, rear wheel drive, twin turbo, inline 6, 335 horsepower, 369 torque, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, 3,400 pounds, Corvette money.
Until the dealers get a hold of it, you will never touch one.
I know. So 50,000. 8-speed auto is the only transmission at the launch, but a 4-cylinder, quote, normal version will be available. They say race and other versions are promised. They've even said that they have the ability to put a stick in it. They're just not there yet. 2020 Toyota Supra, hella sweet or but terrible. What y'all think? Go, Mental. Take it.
Okay. This is the same problem that faced the new NSX. The new NSX was a brilliant freaking car.
Amazing.
But it was living on the hype of the last generation NSX. And every dealer, by the way, if you're buying cars from car dealers, they're pieces of crap because they were marketing them up and they were overpricing them. And then ultimately when they all sat around, they turned to Honda and go, "Why did you give us this piece of garbage? No one will buy it at $30,000 of markup." It's the same problem with the GT5. It's the same problem with the GT500. It's the same problem
Focus RS.
Focus RS, yeah.
Yes, every kind of heritage car that is coming into this market with a heritage behind it, the manufacturer is pricing it fairly. They are pricing it well for what it is. but because of the hype, greedy dealers are marketing up. And you just think about this for a second. Oh, it's capitalism. They've got a right to make a profit. No one else does this. New Coke wasn't overpriced at 30% more than regular Coke when it came out, nor was Classic Coke. Any other manufacturer of a product, they put in a reasonable amount of profit and then they sell a large amount of it. Toyota, just like Kia's doing with the Stinger, just like Acura dealers with the NSX, the dealers are going to screw this up. It's a really good car for the money. It is an amazing car for the money, but you're not going to be able to touch one.
So we got hella sweet car, but terrible dealer system.
Bingo.
Out of mental. Who's next? Chrissy, go.
Oh, no, that wasn't pointing to Chris.
Too bad. You're already going.
Let's also mention Toyota has not had a Halo sports car for a very long time, since 1998 when the last Supra left. They had the BRZ whatever twin, but that's not Halo.
No.
That's affordable.
Okay, so I have admittedly, have not done my research on this car. But I have to say that it's really ugly. So
actually, that's one of the big gripes that a lot of people are saying.
I really like, there's a meme out there that has a guy that doesn't have his glasses on, he's squinting, and it's the Supra. And then he puts this is Jason Heister actually posted it. Somebody else posted before him, but I saw it from him. And then he puts his glasses on and he sees the Z4M Coupe, which is what our firstborn is. So you're like, oh, that's what it should look like. The trunk is hideous.
Yes.
But it looks like a Z4M that somebody just kind of like smushed some things around. Like somebody had Photoshop and they kind of like squished this here and like tush this here and push this here and push this here.
And then they did the cut and paste fake vent all over it.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm not a big fan. I'm trying to be better than just looking at a car and saying it's ugly. But the Jalopnik article is not helping me a whole lot. So I apologize for not having as much information about this topic. I just decided to talk about the aesthetics, and that's what I know. I will side with mental, I suppose, because so I'm sure, I don't know, people will love it, I think, because people just like, sometimes people like things that are coming back, like you said, the NSX, but there are people that like to just like it for nostalgia. They just like, oh, I had a Supra. I love this Supra. So I go to Chris. I'll come up with a better answer.
No, that was a fine answer.
That was actually a good answer.
Chris, what you
got?
All
right. I think it's going to drive hella sweet, but it sure does look butt terrible. And this is from someone who owned a Z4M Coupe that was a brilliant car in every way. This Supra is typical Toyota right now, and it's overstyled. The guy didn't know when to put down the pen. Like, the basic lines of it are nice. It's all the other crap. Like, there's no need for those the terrible fender flares that they have in the back. They could make nice like box flares or nice like round flares, and it would look like a 911-ish kind of hips, and that would look great. And get rid of that duckbill that they said we will put a duckbill thing on it, but it's too much. It's over the top. The guy didn't put the pen down at the right spot. Oh, we will make a nose like a Formula One car. It looks dumb. It didn't look good. It doesn't look good in Formula One cars. It doesn't look good in the Supra either. Like, it's not. That's what's a shame. Is that it has so much potential, and I'm sure it's going to drive very nicely because the Z4 drives very nicely. That they're going back to a little more hardcore this time. So if they just made a Z4 coupe like look like a Z4, it would have been great. But Toyota doesn't know how to style a car these days. Look at the Terminator grill, like the Predator grill on the Lexuses. It's too much.
They're terrible.
Right. Like the RX 350 Lexus looks awful. The Camry, apparently it drives brilliantly, but it looks terrible. The only thing they can style right now is a 4Runner and Tacoma. Those look fine,
and even those grills are starting to get a little ugly.
Yeah, there's a way to do it nicely and make it look good, like a Mazda or like a BMW. How about that? There's all kinds of ways to. You're starting with the ultimate automotive proportion: the long hood, short deck lid, hatchback thing. That's what a Jaguar XKE is. One of the most gorgeous cars of all time. That's what all the Aston Martins are. That's what the Z4M was. Jags, exactly. You're starting with the best automotive shape there is to start with for a pretty car, and you ruin it. And so that was what Toyota's responsibility was the styling for their version, and they ruined it. It's a shame. That's all.
All right. Well, here's my 2 cents. They didn't need this. They needed a supercar. They needed a halo car. They had it. It has a Lexus F badge on it. They needed to strip it down, make it cheaper, and call it a Supra. Mm-hmm. It's more Toyota. It's not a BMW.
Yeah, true.
It's the last Supra was a GT car, not a true sports car. The LSF or F-Type, whatever they call it, that should have been the Supra.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame Toyota has outsourced their sports cars to people who would not be as good at making it as if Toyota had done it themselves. The FRS BRZ, if it didn't have that crappy Subaru engine in it that is poorly tuned, has that stupid torque dip, and it isn't very good, it would be a much better car. This, like, if Toyota had just gone, like, actually the engineering is probably one of the best parts of this, even though it won't be as reliable as a Toyota. The styling is what kills this one, but still, like, the outsourcing of the sports cars to other people, I just feel like it's a way to get them a sports car, but I think they're missing the reason people liked the Supra for what it was, and the reason people liked the MR2 for what it was. They're just not having it with this.
Yeah, the LFA, by the way, has 4.8 liter, 552 horsepower motor, not 335.
Well, that was $500,000, Jeff. The LFA,
but they could have.
But no. The LFA they've got the LC,
the IS, the RCF,
the IS. They've got Lexus makes now a variety of gorgeous 2-door coupes.
Yeah, the RSF is actually the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, the RCF. Yeah, it's a great car.
It's a 462 horsepower, 5-liter V8.
And like you said, if they'd have just backed off of that a bit, made it a Supra, you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's what I think.
There we go.
Well, there it is. We have But Terrible and then 3 mixed votes all around. So there it is. That is the end of today's show. Next week's show, who wants to talk about it?
We're doing rally. No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So we're excited to have Santiago.
Jumping into a cold pool. We're gonna do it this time. We're gonna do it.
I did that. Santiago Daniel Iglesias, the rally guy, engineer, and he survived racing with NSF. So we're going to have him on next week. We're very excited about it. That's what we're doing. Bye.
Oh, thanks for downloading this extremely long but extremely California edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Go to iTunes, no matter where you get your podcasts. Go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you think we're but terrible, give us 5 stars. Tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our
Facebook. You want a sticker, just ask us for a sticker.
Hit us up on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. All the new folks who joined us at Laguna Seca, thank you for tuning in. I gave out a lot of stickers. I talked to a lot of people, but I wrenched more than I talked, so hopefully we got some of you here. Find us on Instagram or Twitter. We got a lot of new Instagram followers, so we'll make sure to tweet this out. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep the wheels down.